All right, girls, thank you so much for being on live tonight. And for those of you catching the recording, I have a lot of info to go over, and I'm really excited because it's been a little while since we've hosted a call like this where I'm really jazzed up, and it's stuff that I bet you haven't really heard yet. So that makes me really excited because sometimes I feel like I'm just a broken record and I come on here and I say like the same thing all the time. But the beginning of November, Shayna, Kim, and I went to Beachbody Leadership, which I did want to give a little plug about. Leadership is kind of like Summit on steroids in the sense that it's really awesome training, workouts with the trainers, really fun stuff. But it's only for 5-star and above coaches. So instead of having like 25,000 coaches getting to do those things, there's like a few hundred. So it's really cool to really zero in and get to be around other leaders and people who are like in this for the long haul. So everything I'm going to talk about tonight, I got from leadership, and with the holidays and just everything crazy going on. Right when we were sitting hearing this information, we were like nudging each other, like we totally need to talk to the team about this, but we were kind of waiting till the right time, and it's just been really busy. So tonight is the night, and Shayna just had a baby, as y'all know, so that's why I am hosting solo tonight. But a couple quick things. I went live and I talked about 80-Day Obsession and the test group that Autumn is running. So if anybody has questions about that, please post in the team page or ask me right now and I can answer that. But basically, the challenge packs for 80-Day Obsession launch on Thursday. And if you buy the basic pack, which is the sliders, it's all the basic stuff. Like you already have BOD and you already have Shakeology, and you want the basic pack to fill what you don't have for 80-Day Obsession. Or if you buy the mega pack that comes with Performance Line and a bunch of other stuff, you will be invited to be in this test group with Autumn. And it's really rad because everybody always wants to be in a test group. You want to be able to say you're in a test group. You want to be one of the first person to do a program, and you want the backing from that celebrity trainer. I mean, it just really helps your what's the word I'm looking for? Just that people will trust you that this is legit, you know, if you've been in a test group. So Autumn spoke up and was like, dude, I'm going to do this for the network of coaches. So it's for us as coaches. I'm going to do it. I would want all of you to do it. I will definitely be buying one of those packs. I got to figure out the numbers because we already buy Performance Line. But the way that they put it all together, it might be cheaper to buy that huge bundle and just put our other Performance Line stuff on hold for a couple months, because they definitely discounted it way down because you're buying so much at one time. Number two is it's also for customers who convert to coaches. They will be invited in, and people who aren't customers or coaches yet, if they buy one of the challenge packs for 80-Day Obsession, they will be able to be in this test group. So I feel like that's huge. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a hard time finding people who want to commit to this. I don't know if it's because it's 80 days. I don't know if it's because they just don't know anything about it yet, so they're squeamish. So at this point, I'm really focusing on current customers, past customers, people who already love and know Beachbody. But I also would love, wouldn't we all, to attract new people to do 80-Day Obsession. So really start thinking about what your game plan is going to be with all of that. All right. So we heard from one of the founding coaches at Leadership named Milan, and she had a really awesome story to talk about. So the network all began 10 years ago this year. It's 10 years old. Prior to that, Beachbody was infomercial, workouts, Tony Horton, like that was their thing. And they were selling like crazy. Beachbody was making a ton of money. Carl owned the company from day one. Carl and the other guy who you guys have probably never heard of, John Congdon, I think is his name. And they were doing well, but Carl is a people pleaser, and people pleaser might not be the right word, but he wants to genuinely help people. And what he was seeing was that they were selling DVDs like crazy, or maybe it was even VHS tapes back then, probably, but people weren't really getting the results. They were a one-time thing, and then they weren't doing it, you know, kind of like if you think back to before you were in Team Beachbody. If you saw an infomercial, I always thought, yeah, of course they got results because they were like paid to be in that video, but those things don't really work. So that's what was happening. Nobody followed through and did it, even though the programs were great even back then. That's when Team Beachbody came about 10 years ago. So there were, I think, 44 founding coaches, and we got to hear from one of them at Leadership, Milan. So she's older. She's in an older age bracket. She talked about the ups and downs of her business. She talked about, when things started, how things were at that time, and how over 10 years, she's had to adjust a lot to, it was a face-to-face business back then, to now it's all online and social media. And like I said, she's in an older age bracket. So that was all super intimidating to her. So in her progress and growth as a coach, recently in the last year or so, she developed this concept of a diamond strong team. Because what she was noticing was that the typical diamond coach, there's lots of coaches that get to diamond, and for whatever reason, they don't get past that. And they're not making the income that they think they should be when they're a diamond, because we put so much emphasis on diamond coaches. So she came up with this concept of being a diamond coach. So I'm going to share the slides that she shared with us. So I'm going to screen share with you guys so you can see, and I'm just going to go over all of it with you. It's pretty rad, but stay with me, you guys, because even for me, this was like mind-blowing. Like, it's not what I was taught. It's not, like I said, it wasn't anything I had heard before, but the concept makes so much sense that we're just going to go with it and see if we can get our team moving more in this direction, because at the end of the day, it will help more people where they are at, and it will drive volume, which drives income, which is obviously one thing that would be super helpful for everybody. All right. I'm not so good at screen sharing, so bear with me. I feel like I mess it up every time. I'm trying not to. I think it's this one. Yes. Okay. So these were her slides. And it's not like a PowerPoint. So of course she told us her whole story, her journey with Beachbody, blah, blah, blah. And then she started talking about this whole concept of a 500 plus PV coach. So 500 PV, think about this. Shakeology is 90 PV, right? So about 6 Shakeology customers would be a 500 PV coach. What that means is you have a coach, or you yourself consistently has at least 6 people drinking Shakeology. I'm going to use Shakeology as the example, but within this call tonight, I will give so many more examples of volume producing products that we have that we don't really tap into, because I know Shakeology is like our bread and butter. But one thing that she really drove home was that a lot of times, and I know I'm guilty of this, I talk to somebody who is, we'll just use the CrossFit example, really into CrossFit. And as soon as I find out that they're really into CrossFit, I shut down and I go, they're not going to want to do this. They're CrossFit people. CrossFit people stick together. They don't leave their gym. They have their community. Like, what do I have to offer? Well, we still have a lot to offer with Shakeology, with the performance line. And so kind of changing your thinking from everybody needs the challenge pack, which yes, we want to sell a challenge pack. So don't get me wrong. We want people to have the full picture. But when you come across these people who already have a piece of the puzzle that we have to offer, meet them where they're at and try to fill the gap with what they don't have. Maybe there's supplements at the gym that they're offered that they've tried, but maybe they're not in love with them. You don't know until you ask. Or the example of somebody who's really into nutrition and they're the nutrition expert, and they don't want to hear about Shakeology because it's a supplement. Oh, it's a supplement. Oh my God. I always run scared. I don't want to talk to those people who probably know way more than me about nutrition. But what I do know is that Shakeology is a legit supplement. And what I do know is that if they tried to go to Whole Foods and buy all of the superfoods and ingredients and things that we have in Shakeology, it would cost them a fortune. So taking the conversation from hearing, I'm a nutrition expert, I don't need you, blah, blah, blah. Not that people say it that way, but I think you guys know what I mean. To taking that information going, great, you know what? You probably know way more than I do about that. However, I would love to share with you more about what's in Shakeology, because I think that it's super easy to just stiff-arm supplements before really knowing, what's even in them. So can I share the ingredients with you? Something like that. Open up the conversation. You may still get a no. That's okay. But maybe you'll get somebody who's actually interested in hearing about it. Or the person who's like, I work out with my best friend. We go to the gym every single day. I don't need your group. I don't need the community. Again, that's not how people say it, but you know what I mean. So what do you have to offer them? Because I know when I'm talking to somebody about what we do, I lean heavily on the challenge group, the support that we can offer. And if somebody doesn't want that and they're more private, well, you still have a lot you can offer them. So don't just shut down on that. Maybe the challenge pack isn't what every single person needs, but you can fill a gap somewhere. So talking about the 500 PV coach, you're filling the gaps for people and meeting them where they're at. You're living the 4 vital behaviors every single day. That's nothing new, you guys. That's what we talk about all the time. You are inviting from day one, and you're teaching your coaches, because again, this whole concept that we're going to talk about tonight isn't just for you individually, it's for your team and for your future coaches. So simplifying inviting back to, I'm doing this, it's rad, it's changed my life, come do it with me. You learn how to ask questions. How have you been? How's your health? Rather than just jumping to the invite, ask more questions first. Hear what they're up to. You know, I feel like when I take a step back and I take the time to ask questions, I'm definitely finding way more information that's helpful for me to get to the invite and what to even say in the invite. A 500 PV coach knows that you need to help somebody find their healthy formula, whether it's the exercise, the nutrition, or the support, like I was just talking about. And they nurture their contacts and customers. A lot of times, and once again, this is something I'm guilty of, I follow up with my challengers a lot, challengers from years ago. However, am I really nurturing that? I don't know that I can claim that. I don't know that I can claim that I'm nurturing it. It's, to be honest, it's kind of become a checkbox to some people who fell off the wagon forever ago. And in my mind, I've gotten a little bit frustrated, like, why wouldn't you want to keep doing this with me, sort of thing. And so I don't feel like I'm nurturing that. And if you are going to work with this 500 plus PV model where you consistently have at least 6 customers on Shakeology, you're going to need to nurture that relationship. And the last thing is being confident in the products that we sell and the company. I am so confident in Beachbody. And anytime I start to feel myself like get caught up in any sort of fear in this, I'm reminded of the roots of this company and why I got into it in the beginning. And not only the roots of the company, but my roots in the company. Oops. All right. So think of it as U plus 2. Now, a U plus 2 is an emerald, right? You are a coach, you sign 2 people, and now you are an emerald coach. It's the major milestone, the keystone of your entire team are those first 2 coaches, right? So in the traditional diamond model, you're signing a bunch of coaches, and what I've seen after 4 years in this business is the thought process of signing 8 people and then worrying about helping them get to emerald. And I think we need to back up, and even if they're a discount coach, if you use this 500 PV model, where you're helping them find 2 people to bring along with them right out the gate, then you're building more of a sustainable, substantial team. It's a simple plan. Get to emerald and then build emeralds. You will gain so much more volume and income by building emeralds and this tribe of emeralds rather than a team of discount coaches with 2 shaky emeralds that every week you're wondering if somebody's going to go inactive. It's definitely more of a team mindset. It's not what they can do individually, but how can we duplicate this together and work more as a team together to get people to see the potential in this and the potential in how many more people they can help by building this way. So your goal would be to build a 4-generation emerald tribes. That's what she calls it. So if you think about it, if you're emerald and you build 4 emeralds under you and you teach them to get to emerald with this whole concept of helping people bridge the gap with whatever it is rather than only focusing on challenge packs, you will sell challenge packs and you will build that income and that stronger team. Oop, shoot. All right. Again, just reiterating that you're building generations. So a 500 plus PV customer base, then you're teaching your coaches to do that, to teach their coaches to build Emerald. So it goes on and on and on. I'll be completely honest. The model that I was taught was not this. So I've seen this with a lot of the diamonds on our team, on hard hitters throughout, that, like I said, they get their 8 coaches and their 2 emeralds, and every week they're like holding on for dear life, making sure that nobody drops. With this model, you won't have that fear every Thursday morning when you wake up to see who's going inactive. So here, as it's shown, now don't get too worried about all the math here, because I was like, whoa, this is a lot. But what it's pointing out is, so as an Emerald coach, you make $14 every time you cycle. Every time you have 100 PV on one side or team volume on one side to 200 team volume on the other, you make $14. So if all of these people are finding those 6-ish customers that are loyal, that love Shakeology, that want to stick with it, maybe they don't even want to build a business, but they know 6 people who love the product just as much as they do, they're a 500 Emerald coach, a 500 PV coach. So building these tribes this way, you can just see how much more volume is produced. So if even just at the level of you plus 2 Emerald tribes, you're already making, this is just team cycle bonuses. This is not commission based off what you've sold. You're already making a lot more than the traditional model that we're very used to. Am I losing anybody? Any questions so far? I can post this in the team page also so that you guys can reference back to the numbers and stuff if you're interested, because like I said, when I first saw it, I was like, this is a lot. All right, so this is where it really hit home to me, you guys. This model, as an Emerald, is making $447 a week, okay? The Classic Diamond, built with 8 coaches, 6 of them mostly discount coaches and 2 Emeralds, is making only $54 a week on average. Of course, there's outliers, but on average. The Classic Diamond is then making, now these numbers, I'm sorry, the Classic Diamond with the 500 PV, that does not make sense to me. Ignore that one, unless somebody else feels like that makes sense. I'm going to go to the Diamond Strong one. A week, you guys, if you built this way, you would be making $3,700 a week. That is crazy compared to the Classic Diamond. And I'm going to show you what that looks like down here. So here's your Classic Diamond that I keep talking about. You have your 6 discount coaches basically, and your 2 Emeralds. You're making about $54. But the 500 PV, with each of these coaches finding those people who are loyal to the product, love Shakeology or whatever product they are on, and then build, helping their Emerald coaches do the same, you're making a lot more a week. Okay, that's where I was confused. I'm sorry. On the last slide, it was weekly and then monthly. I apologize for that. All right, so here would be the ultimate goal. And you guys, I'm not trying to sit here saying like, this is going to be easy breezy. I'm going to teach this new model and we're all going to find these people who have, 6 people to drink Shakeology, and we're all going to have 500 plus PV coaches, all over the place. It'll take some time, but I think thinking about it this way will help to build up to this. So this would be, best case scenario is if every time you signed a coach, you taught them this model and you ingrained in them and you taught them the potential for them to earn by helping this many people in this way, your earning potential skyrockets. It's just crazy to me. And here is the part that I love the most, all about the mindset. Just like we've been talking about, meeting the customer where they are. So your first goal is to create raving customers. If you have raving customers and they're out there, they're pretty much recruiting for you. They're pretty much walking billboards of Beachbody, just like we are, right? Your second goal is to create customers who influence other people. They got such rad results that they are influencing everybody around them to want to do that. But they're also confident in it because they're living it. So it's easy for them to talk about. It's not scary. It's not salesy. And the third goal is to create revenue for each of those customers. So yes, we're calling them customers, but we're signing them up as coaches and we're helping them create that revenue going forward. So not only are they just covering the cost of their Shakeology, which is what we always said, I'm going to help you cover the cost of your Shakeology, you're helping them take it a step further. If you break it down to what we have to offer, it's fitness that's fun, nutrition that's simple, and then the support that we offer as coaches and the community. So just like we were talking about in the beginning, finding the healthy formula. What is your favorite way to exercise? So maybe you're talking to the CrossFit person, they already know that they like to exercise, and now you need to ask them, well, how is your nutrition? Because just because somebody belongs to a CrossFit gym and they can do 50 snatches with 100 pounds, I don't really know, I just made that up, it doesn't mean that they eat well or eat what they should be eating. Or maybe they go to the gym every single day and they meal plan and they're like robots and they eat very clean every day of their life, but they have nobody supporting them. So it's not fun. They don't have anybody championing them and telling them they did a great job. They're just like in the zone of doing what they do every day. You could be their buddy, a support system, but you have to first ask them, does anybody go to the gym with you? And then here's the kicker, asking them, are you open to trying something new? Rather than just jumping to, okay, I'm going to send them my invite to the challenge group after I already know that they have a couple pieces to the puzzle that I'm offering, ask them, are you open to trying something new? Maybe the robot gym person wants to branch out a bit. Maybe they're bored. But if you just look at them and get in a conversation and find out that they go to the gym every day and they eat really well, and you go, oh, they're never going to want to do this with me, then you never know. By talking to people and asking them these questions and filling the gaps, it's going to increase their success rate by using what we have to offer and build confidence. And it will increase your success rate and build your confidence as you see how many people you can help with this model. Okay, so here's looking at the challenge pack, which we know is the best solution that we have because it offers all the 4 things: fitness, nutrition, and sport, the 3 things, sorry. It shows you right here how much personal volume you make off of that, how much team volume, how much residual customer PV the person would get, and then how much we make in commission. So this is what I was saying. That's why I kept saying 6 customers a month would be a 500 PV coach. But with this model, it's not saying to sell 6 challenge packs a month. It's talking about the residual. It could be residual Shakeology customers as well. Okay, I really liked when she said this because this is something that I haven't done in a really long time. I kind of did it in the beginning of my business, but she talked about how she encourages her coaches, and she does this with her own family and friends, just asking them for support and feedback. Let them know that what you're doing matters to you. It's important to you. And the reason is because the people that are closest to you, I'm sorry. Now I'm trying to read it and like say it at the same time. I thought she was going somewhere else with this because I'm like remembering the way that she taught this. She was sending emails to her family and friends and saying, like, I'm asking the people closest to me for support and feedback with some of the products that I'll be recommending to other people. Are you open to helping me with this? Because then you could recommend that they try it without maybe forcing them into this new thing that you're doing that you're all excited about, that maybe they're like, whoa. And I definitely had people in my family like that where they were maybe intimidated or maybe annoyed at what I was doing or whatever it is, you know, especially with women, like they get kind of weird. Especially if maybe like you've been on a certain path with like a really good friend for a really long time and then you lose all this weight and they're still there. Like they, as much as like that might be the person that you want to help so bad to get into this, like they are probably stiff arming you because we're women and you don't really want to see your best friend get super skinny and you're like, not anymore. You know, I'm just making stuff up, but you know what I mean. So asking them for feedback is a really great way to open up the conversation with them if you haven't already. And then, of course, we know all of the different things that we have to offer. One thing that I want to point out that I feel like gets highly overlooked is the Derm exclusive line. You get quite a bit of volume from that line. It's face wash, eye cream, think of Rodan and Fields for Beachbody. I cannot say comparison if it's better or worse. I've used both, but I'm not a product person in terms of like facial stuff. So I'm not the expert with that, but I have used it and I do like it. And the fact that we have our own, I would recommend trying it so that you can recommend it to other people if you like it. And it's nice that there's PV attached to it. And then the other thing that's not even on here yet because it was announced while we were there was the bars that are coming out this spring that will really help. I mean, I'm constantly eating bars. My husband eats bars. My kids eat bars, constantly making them out of Shakeology. It'd be really nice to have a product like that. And just a few minutes ago, I was saying how I have so much confidence in this company. And just to point out, you guys, that's one of the areas, not because we're selling bars now, but for 5 stars and up are in a group on Facebook. And a lot of times there's a lot of complaints or a lot of suggestions that's like whining. But it's us from the field, if you will, going to corporate saying, can you please help us with this? Like, can we implement this? This would work really well for our customers. Everybody's out there buying this. Can we have that? And this was one of the things that we've been asking for a really long time. There used to be P90X bars that apparently sold like hotcakes and then they discontinued them for whatever reason. So I feel like Beachbody Corporate definitely has our back. They listen to things. They acknowledge when we're asking for things, and they go to work and do their research and then launch them when it makes sense. And I really appreciate that we have that. And I know that not everybody gets to see that side of things, so I wanted to share that with you. All right. So we're still running groups and challenge groups. We're not changing what we do, you guys. We're just thinking about it from a different way. How can we motivate more people to get on board with us? How can we talk about this more? So I'm going to continue with this, but I'm also going to add in another layer of this that honestly I think was from a different presenter at Leadership, where she talked about recruiting to part-time coaching. So I feel like I've been doing what I was taught, where you're either a discount coach, and sometimes those coaches get a little bit forgot about, except for the fitness side of things, because in my mind, a discount coach is a challenger who just wants a discount. So I treat them like a challenger. I don't try to push them towards the business, and I don't check in on them frequently enough to see if anything's changed in terms of whether or not they want to work the business. So that's number one. Look at your entire downline, and now's a perfect time of year going into the new year, and ask them, I know you've been consistent drinking your Shakeology and being in my groups, and I love that. I just want to check in and see if you have any thoughts about the business, in any aspect. Don't ever be afraid to tell me if you've changed your mind and you want to hear about it or whatever, or you want to see what the potential could be for you. And then the other one was the hobby coach that we always call it. It's somebody who kind of dabbles in it, more of like a part-time. And then the career coach. And for me personally, I would definitely consider myself a career coach, but I don't work this job 40 hours a week. I think about it all day long because I love it, but I have my pretty strict business hours of when I do things throughout my day, because my day is full of kids and mom stuff. My days used to be full of work as well, nights, sleeping, whatever. And I feel like I need to do a better job talking about part-time coaching, because I feel like when I talk about being a career coach, it may seem like to you guys and to anybody you recruit that I'm sitting over here 8-10 hours a day working as a coach, and that's just not reality. So what does a part-time coach do to actually create some movement in this? Same thing we do. They just broke it down a little bit different. They're starting 5 new conversations a day. They're inviting 3 people a day. You're encouraging these people who maybe they don't want to go all in, but they do want to earn some extra money and they do want to help a lot of people. You're encouraging them to post at least one time on social media, rather than telling them they have to post 3 to 5 times and then do Insta stories and all of this. So social media is my nemesis right now. So trying to tell brand new people to do all of that is like, oh, yikes. But I think if you think about it like this and you're like, just help that person post once a day. If they were a Facebook stalker like I used to be and never posted and just looked at stuff, posting one time a day, but helping them with that one post. And then maybe they're throwing in their dog here, there, their kids or whatever, but simplifying. You're going to post once a day and I'm going to help you craft that post, so that you're throwing in some curiosity marketing around what you're doing now, but just one a day. It's so much easier than throwing all of the social media stuff at them. Now remember, we're talking about the part-time coach, the hobby coach, whatever you want to call it, not the person who comes to you and says, I need to do what you do, full throttle, and I want to quit my job in a year. That's different. 15 minutes of personal development. Of course, they're drinking their shake. And I really like this, encouraging them to unplug for an hour, which I think we should all do. I think coaches, especially newer coaches, and once you start to get momentum, and you're running challenge groups on your own, if you more veteran seasoned coaches remember this, or maybe you're still in it, you do feel like you're glued to your phone. You want to be checking in your challenge groups all the time because it's so exciting to be watching people participate and doing all these great things. And so you don't ever feel like you get any unplugged time. But seriously, like putting your phone in a drawer if you have to for an hour in the evening so that you can be like focused in on your family is so refreshing. I started doing that a while ago and it feels really good. Checking in, you're also encouraging them to check in with the team, encouraging them to do 5 workouts a week. I always tell people to follow the calendar, but I also understand 5 workouts a week is pretty dang awesome. And then you're just constantly recognizing their small wins over time, over and over and over again, the small wins of whether it's weight or whether it's business related, just constantly recognizing them. And then also sharing relatable stories with them with specific examples of people who have worked it this way. And again, I'm definitely a career coach. This is definitely my full-time job, but I don't do it full-time. So I feel like I fall into this a lot and it's more of a part-time thing. And I think that the way that I've been presenting the business a lot is like, it's all you do and it's your whole life. But I've always said that this will 100% bring you joy and enhance your life and make your life better, but it doesn't have to be your whole life. So I think putting that into somebody's mind from the beginning will be helpful and will be very, I don't know, what's the word? It'll just be better mindset-wise all around. All right. So I'm going to talk about recruiting from challenge groups. How am I doing on time? I feel like I'm talking a ton today. Okay. I'm going to try to wrap up pretty soon because I try to keep these under 30 minutes and I'm already over, but challenge groups. So we've always talked about recruiting from challenge groups. That's where most of my rock star coaches are from, is my challenge group, because they fall in love with the products. They want to do what we're doing and they run with it. So make those challenge groups really fun. Make them time sensitive so that people don't feel like they're just in this group that just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. That's the one thing that I like about the Challenge Tracker app is I can follow up and check in on people, but it's on a 4-week rotation, man. So if you fell off that 4 weeks or whatever, I can help get you back, or if you need a break, whatever. So they're time sensitive. Free groups, I could do a whole call on free groups. I'm not going to talk too much about that right now, but also make them time sensitive in your month to help fill your challenge groups, if you know what I mean. And then the special interest groups and the VIP customer group, I don't really do those and I can't really speak to them, so we're not going to talk about them. But what I do want to talk about is one way that I know I need to up my game in my own challenge groups to help recruit from them is going live every day. I've gotten in not a very good habit of doing it because in the Tracker app, it's not a live video. And so it's not as like engaging as it is on Facebook, but I could still talk to my challengers every day through the app. And I know that when I'm better at doing that, that people see my face, hear me more, and are more engaged in the group. One thing that a lot of coaches are doing right now just to increase the engagement, and it's a perfect time of year to do it going into the new year, is hosting a book club along with your challenge group. It's just another layer of value that you're offering your challengers, and You can recommend they go get it on Amazon if they want, and not everybody has to participate in that. But if you're talking about that, it gives you a lot of personal development stuff to talk about, and you're foreshadowing coaching because we read personal development every day. Share the business opportunity every day on social media in some way. Again, curiosity marketing. You're not saying, hey, I'm a coach and my life's great now, you should do this with me, but keep it curious. What in your day happened or is happening that is directly related to you being a coach? Maybe it's on your Instagram stories in the morning, you take a picture that you're checking in with your challenge group, or you take a picture that you're about to start your workout or whatever. You're alluding to that. Tell your coach story, tell your whole story in your challenge groups every single time you run one. And I don't really like that note there. I'll come back to that. Okay, sorry. All right, any questions? I've been mentioning curiosity marketing. That could be a whole nother call on its own, so I'm not going to go all into that. And we're not going to talk about websites and all that. I don't think that's necessary. And we already talked about the influencing. All right, I do really, really, really want to hone in on this, and then we'll probably call it a night because I feel bad taking up all of your time. But I really want to expand our whole team's product confidence, because we all rock at Shakeology and we all rock at the workouts, but I don't think very many of us are using the performance line. I just started using Derm Exclusive a few months ago, so I can't say that I'm the best at using all the products either. But I want you guys to try the Boost. I want you guys to try the performance line. I want you to try the bars when they come out. And if you don't like them, that's fine. You don't have to be a walking billboard for every single thing we sell. That's okay. But until you try it, you don't know. I think there's a lot of times that you can recommend these things, but if you haven't tried them yourself, that's really hard. So with the 500 PV model, it's going to be a lot easier to fill those gaps for people if you learn more about what we have to offer beyond challenge packs. Even though, again, we know that the challenge pack is the best, but trying these other things, especially with 80-Day Obsession coming out, please, 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 you guys try it with the performance line. The people in the test group are saying that if they tried it without for the first few weeks, their results did not compare to when they started using it. There's a reason that she incorporated that into the workouts with the timed nutrition and everything. Maybe it's not for every single workout or every single person, but I think with 80-Day Obsession, it makes perfect sense. And hearing the testimonies from the people who lived it already, definitely try it. Don't worry about making videos right now. We're talking about that. All right, a lot of this we already kind of talked about. Okay, so this is the last thing. There is a group on Facebook called the Diamond Strong Project, and it's open to any coach who wants to dive more into this model. So if any of you are interested in that, I'll post a link to it in the team page, and you can click to join, and they'll approve you once they just see that you're a Beachbody coach. I am trying really hard to work my brain around this because, again, it's not what I was taught. It's not what I've been doing all these years. But it's also not so far-fetched, and it's not getting away from what we do every day. It's just thinking about it in a different way. And I think that at the end of the day, I really want to help you guys build strong businesses with thriving customers who are so into this like we are, that it's fun, that's enjoyable, that it's easy. And I know that we've all had those times in our businesses, and as new coaches, like, you're in that time of your business, and I just want to stay there. And I feel like this is a really smart way to think about it. So I hope that all this information was helpful and not like way out there over your heads. Let it sink in, and if you guys have any questions, we can always talk about it more on the team page over the next few weeks. But that's all I have for you. Any questions right now that you guys want to talk about? I would love to hear if anybody's like, dude, I didn't like any of that. I actually don't like that concept at all. Like, I would love your feedback in any way. Anybody?
I liked it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I liked seeing that new model because I feel like it makes more sense, and it feels like it's going to be a stronger base. Doing
Yeah.
it that I had a question about 80 days. Since we're running the challenge group for 80 days, what do we do about people all in between that are wanting to join us in once we get started? What's your suggestion?
Like we already kicked it off and somebody comes along and says they want to do it. I got to figure that out because to be honest, I still don't understand how they're releasing the workouts. So I need to do a little research on that.
Like they ran it for the trial. I'm hoping that they are released all at the same time.
I know they're not doing that. I heard that they're going to do like a week of them at a time. So you can't really have somebody jump in, which I think will be good for the long haul, but also a little bit frustrating because it's 80-day block where you're not going to be able to add people in. But I think it will help get better results and actually create more hype because you'll be telling people like, we already kicked off round 1. I'm going to get you set up for round 2 and it's going to start on April 15th or whatever it is, you know? Because I think the first one will go.
Maybe we set up a Facebook group where we add people that join us throughout, and we can kind of keep track of them when they're just starting on the regular workouts. And
yeah, totally. Get them going on 21-day fix. I mean, they could do whole round of the fix and fix extreme, and so kind of like what we've been doing now with people. I don't want to like start on January 15th and then try to start somebody again in a month with this program. I think it would be difficult. I think it'd be difficult to coach it that way, especially because we're going to be so entrenched starting January 15th, especially with the coach sneak peek group, or I keep calling it the sneak peek, the test group. And I just think to best help somebody through this, we're going to need to be on the same page for the whole thing.
And when does the test group start?
January 15th.
So when we get the package and we go in the test group with Autumn, we'll be doing a test group while we're also running our own.
Yes. And what I was thinking about doing, and you know, everybody's welcome to do whatever, but I was considering opening a group for the team so that as coaches we can, you know, we will all be in the group with Autumn, but just a team-wide challenge group for us and for our challengers, so we can just really rally behind this and do this together. You know, if you guys want to do your own, absolutely go for it. I know that if it's not already there, I know there will be a challenge group guide, so I was just planning on using that and just using our daily like, dude, that was freaking hard, you know, or that was rad or whatever, like our own enthusiasm behind it. The best groups I've ever ran are always launch groups, and I'm trying to like bottle that up because it's just cool when something new comes out. And this is so different, especially from the nutrition aspect, which selfishly I want to do with you guys because I'm not going to be able to do performance line or the nutrition side of things like that. I'm going to be very pregnant. So if anybody wants to do that, I'm just going to open one. And if you all want to run on your own, great. Or if you want to team up, great. But it will be open to whoever wants to do it that way. And it'll be for coaches and your challengers.
Okay.
So just a heads up on that. And I mean, those groups can get kind of big, but sometimes that's fun. I think I always talk about the golden year of Insanity Max 30, and that was a very big group, but it was gold for us as coaches. It was so cool. Everybody got such great results. There were a ton of coaches on our team now that came from that group. It was just really cool to do a hardcore program like that together. And now that I'm thinking back, I mean, that was a 60-day program and we didn't start another one till it was over. It was just, this is what we're doing. You're either in or you have to wait. And in the meantime, I'm going to run my monthly challenge groups throughout as well for people not doing that, because I do think it's just, for me personally, I'm having a hard time getting anybody saying yes to this brand new program. It's going to be more of my existing customers. That's what it's looking like that are going to do it. But if we run this launch right, you guys, then once we do a round and we blow it up about being in the test group with Autumn and all of that, and you get those results, people are going to want to do it. Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a quick question. I saw Autumn do the video on the Beachbody Champions page where she talked about the coach test group. I thought she said it was for diamonds and up. Did they change that? Is it any coach now that buys the challenge pack?
I thought it was any coach, so I'm gonna have to look into that because that's not what they were telling us in the roundtable.
Okay, so maybe they changed since then, because that was, I think, like 2 weeks ago they were saying that. So
Possibly, because when I heard about it for the first time was just the other day.
Okay. So maybe they've changed their mind and made that. And then is anyone doing a sneak peek group, like just a 1 week group for when it comes out in December?
I wasn't really planning on it. I kind of converted my ongoing group to an 80-day sneak peek. I think you're in that group. It's called Time to Thrive. And I've been trying to just post something about it every day, whether it's transformations from the official test group or videos or whatever. And so when Little Bit Obsessed comes out, then I was going to do those workouts, talk about it. So I wasn't really going to do a week.
Separate group. Okay.
Any other questions? No? Thank you guys so much. And Alyssa, please share that stuff in the team page and the hashtags you found that are banned so that nobody else gets put in jail. It's not a fun place. All right, guys. Thank you for hopping on.
Bye.
Thank you.